So there's potentially some formatting issues and things you're going to have to go in and change. So if you're thinking about
things to consider and watch out for, thoughts on that, Jordan?
Yeah, so I was going to mention this earlier, but I wanted to wait until here. Just when you're thinking about, and I'll share my own personal experience. I mention Amazon in my books just offhand sometimes because I personally do a lot with Amazon. I think about it a lot. I don't even think about it when I'm writing my book. I may write a sentence and say something about Amazon. Well, when you're distributing to other platforms, especially iBooks for Apple, they do not like any mention. They don't want any mention to Amazon within your book at all. They'll flag that. Even if it's in, and I've had this, even in the middle of a book where I'm not necessarily referencing Amazon, I'm talking about Amazon like I would talk about Facebook or Google or something like that.
Right.
It doesn't matter. They still don't want to see that in there. So there's potentially some formatting issues and things you're going to have to go in and change. So if you're thinking about it from a high level, maybe if you're going to write a book and you're planning on using Draft2Digital or putting it to other places, think about that. Think about not even putting Amazon in there at all, or changing your verbiage as far as links go and whatnot. But yeah, be thinking about that. I have an Jordan's other books section at the end of my books that I put in there. And I believe my links are on my website, but they redirect to Amazon just because that's generally where I want people to purchase. So I think even in that, iBooks is putting that back and saying, we don't want you to reference or link to Amazon, which I get. I don't have any necessarily problem with it other than the fact that it's super annoying and difficult to have to go back through there and think about that stuff. So yeah, as you're creating your book and as you're putting it through, just think about those things. You might get some flags coming through. It's nothing necessarily that Draft2Digital is doing. So I didn't want to list it as a con on that platform because it would get kicked back within the individual. And again, it's actually easier for me to get one email from Draft2Digital saying, "Hey, your book's live in these places, but actually it's not in this place. Go specifically and let us know what you want us to do with that." So I think that's definitely what you want to watch out for. Other than that, there's not much. The process is pretty simple. But yeah, that would be one specific thing.
Right. This is a concern that's come up for authors in a couple of different contexts. I remember in the past, I've used other aggregate distributors, and I would change even just a simple review section, the ask for a review at the end. In the Amazon edition, I would say, hey, please go back to my Amazon page and maybe even include a link there. I'd love an honest and thoughtful review and so forth. Can't do that in this context. So I'll say, adapt it to say, for example, please go back to wherever you purchase this book, or please go back to your retailer of choice or something like that. Because again, they don't want you to use their system, especially if you're making a book available for free, to promote people going off to another platform. So not a huge deal, but it is something to be aware of and appreciate the mention of that.